Okay. Any questions? Any questions? No? Okay. Okay, chapter one. Chapter one is managerial accounting and the cost concept. So managerial accounting starting from the identification of various costs. Okay. So can you think about any cost in your mind? No. What so wages is a kind of cost. What kind of cost? That is the internal cost, external cost, fixed cost, variable cost, material cost, product cost. Yeah, very good. So you can think about all the costs, but you have to know the classification of the cost. And this chapter is to help you to identify the cost. Okay, so this is the talking about financial accounting and managerial accounting again. Okay, so and why do we have to then to identify the various costs? They are the purpose. Okay, so the first purpose is to assigning cost to cost objective. Do you have any idea about this term? These four words? What's the question you have? What is cost object, right? So what is cost object? Any idea? So any product, any service can be a kind of cost object. Okay. Any type of product or any type of service can be part of the cost object. So we have to assign all kinds of costs to that service or to that product so that you will know the cost for that product or for that service. Then you know how much you can charge. Yeah. So that is the first purpose, and I think that's very important. So that is the first purpose. And the second purpose is accounting for costs in manufacturing companies, especially for manufacturing companies. Okay. Because see, we have to prepare financial statements, right? Can you identify one account within the asset account? What asset include? Including cash? Yeah. Land and buildings. What else? Related to manufacturing companies?
Yeah. Material. And the machine.
The machine, okay, and then
The people.
the people, the people are no, the people are not in the financial statement. That's intangible assets.
But it's a cost, no? The people.
No, I'm talking about assets within the asset accounts in the financial statement. Do you remember the word inventory? Yeah, even art has inventory, right? Art is part of inventory. If you are selling any art, that art is your inventory. Yes. Okay. So we have to do accounting for costs in manufacturing companies, especially for the inventory, right? Okay, then prepare financial statements. It's very obvious, yeah, because financial statement need numbers. You have to identify the numbers. Okay. And the next one is predicting cost behavior in response to changes in activity. What is the cost driver? What is cost driver? Yeah, cost driver. Cost driver. You can say they are cost behavior.
Are we looking at higher costs change on a monthly basis? Like, for example, maybe there's a fire, right? So they will increase losses. Assuming it's insured, if it's not insured, then that's a loss.
Yeah.
You have to pay for damages,
Yeah.
etc. If you found negligent or bad fire, could be charged environment fee. That's it.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Okay.
So then you incorporate insurance. So you're looking at the way business operates. You can do insurance because maybe it's a high fire hazard area. Or that's just how you look at the costs that might arise in response to incidents.
Very good. You are talking about many things within that statements, but I hear the keyword insurance, right? Because there is a fire, then I will think, do you have the insurance to pay for the damage, right? Damage to the company itself and then to the environment. So do you have insurance? So I believe they do pay insurance. So the insurance expenses is fixed or it's variable. So what is fixed? No matter there is a fire or not, it's fixed. You have to pay for the insurance, right? Yeah, so that is the fixed cost, right? You have to pay that no matter you have a fire, there is a fire or not. So that is the fixed cost. But fixed, the other is variable. And what is variable cost?
And for manufacturing, and producing components. We have every season we have different price for components, and that's a variable cost. And yeah, we need to every 6 months or every year to adjust the cost, the budget to producing some company's products.
Yeah, very good. So you need coconut to produce your product lines. And the more coconut you have, the more you have to pay, right? So how much you have to pay depends on how much you buy. So that is the variable cost, right? If I produce 1 pack of chocolate, then I need 100 grams of coconut. I didn't know the underside of that. Okay, so you produce 1 pack of chocolate and you require 100 grams of coconut. So one coconut, 100 grams, how much? I don't know. If you produce 10 pack of chocolate, then we will need a kilo of coconut, right? So that is variable cost. So the cost of the coconut of the material, that is the variable cost. So that's cost behavior. So if I am asking you what is the behavior of this cost, you have to think about whether it's fixed or variable. So that is a cost behavior. So even cost has their behaviors. You have to be listen, yeah. Okay. So that's a cost behavior. Okay. So we have to predicting cost behavior in response to changes in activity. So produce 1 pack of chocolate versus 10 pack of chocolates different. And the last one is making the figures. Okay. So they are the factors to identify the cost. Very good. Okay, so the first we have to learn is the direct cost and indirect costs. Direct cost and indirect. We can ask to answer this question. Would you like to take out your phone and do some research? Yeah.
Direct costs or expenses that can be traced directly to a specific product, service, or development. Some examples are like labor costs, manufacturing overhead.
Wait a second, wait a second, like raw material,
Yeah, raw material, like
manufacturing overhead.
yeah, it's a,
It's not right.
not right.
Not right.
Not right.
Raw materials is correct. Raw material is a direct cost, but overhead is not. Yes, sorry. So we have to correct, yeah, we have to correct the information provided by the machine.
Does labor cost also come? The indirect costs, also overhead costs. So here it's manufacturing, overhead, utilities, insurance,
Yes,
rent.
yes,
Yes.
correct. It's, yeah, the rentals are correct. Yeah, very good. Okay, so direct costs are costs that can be easily and conveniently traced to a unit of product or other cost objective. So as I mentioned, the cost object can be a service. Okay. So that's direct cost, like direct material, direct labor. They are direct costs. Okay, and indirect costs are costs that cannot be easily and conveniently traced to a unit of product or other cost objective like service. An example is manufacturing overhead, or you can, for short, MOH. Manufacturing overhead, that is an indirect cost, like rent of the factory, like the electricity for the factory, or the supervisor for the factory. That's indirect cost.
The transport,
Transport,
transport, you know, of the
transport,
product you.
transport is a kind of environmental cost. Environmental cost, yeah. But for companies, they have to account for the CO2 released by the transportation. They like their employees coming from their homes to the company, or their company cars going out to visit the customers. So that's the kind of environmental cost. But
Transport as in, for example, shipping raw materials from the seeds that you need, right?
yeah, very, very good question. It depends on that transportation for importing the goods to the company or exporting the goods outside to the customers. If your company buys some products and your supplier said you have to pay for the shipment,
Yeah.
then that is included in the cost of the product.
Okay, so it's a direct cost.
Yes, direct to that product.
The exporting is environmental.
That is not included in the product cost.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have defined, because all the company incur a lot of cost, not every cost is related to the product or service. Very good question. Okay, and indirect cost, sometimes we call it common cost. Okay, common cost, yeah. Because this common cost incurred to support a number of cost objectives. And these costs cannot be traced to any individual cost objective. It's hard to trace that to a single product or a single service. That is common cost. Like the rent, because rent of the factory, because we are producing everything we sell are producing in this factory. So can you identify how much of the rent can be traced to a single value product? It's hard. It's hard. So we will say that the common cost or indirect cost. Okay, yeah. Okay, and now we are talking about the three basic manufacturing cost categories, because we keep saying direct material, direct labor, and manufacturing overhead. They are the three major cost categories for manufacturing companies. For direct materials, we will call it DM for short, and direct labor we will call it DL, and manufacturing overhead we call it MOH. And I think it's a very good time for us to take another 10 minutes break. Okay, I think we continue. Yeah. So 3 classifications for manufacturing costs: direct material, direct labor, and manufacturing overhead. You have to memorize these 3 terms. Okay, let's see direct materials. Okay, so this is the electrical car. So any components or any parts you can see inside the car, they are direct materials. So direct materials are raw materials that become an integral part of the product and that can be conveniently traced directly to it. So you have to remember the keyword conveniently, okay? Conveniently traced directly to it. So 3 keywords: conveniently, traced, directly. Okay, yeah. So they are direct materials. Okay, yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
Can we download this PowerPoint?
I'm sorry.
Can we have this PowerPoint?
The
Okay.
The PowerPoint. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. As I said, actually, I keep editing the PPT, so I will upload that after I finish the lecture. Yeah. So sure, I will later have this PPT. No problem. Okay, and direct labor, or sometimes we call it touch labor. Can you imagine why they use touch? The word touch. Yes, so it's easy to remember. So direct labor is touch labor. It's the labor who touch the product directly and easily to be traced. Okay, so direct labor costs are those labor costs that can be easily traced to individual, okay, individual, remember, individual units of product, for example, wages paid to automobile assembly workers. They are direct labor. Okay, then let's come to manufacturing overhead. So I think this one is a bit hard to understand. Okay, so remember the definition first. Okay, that's manufacturing overhead includes all manufacturing costs except direct material and direct labor. Okay, and this cost cannot be easily traced to finished product. So we have raw material, we have work in process, right? And then finished product. So 3 different kind of inventories. So raw material, work in process, and finished goods. There are 3 forms of inventories. Okay, and so we can say that they include indirect labor and indirect material.
It's like electricity.
Like insurance,
Yeah.
yeah. And the salary of the supervisors, because the supervisors don't touch directly to the product, right? They just supervise. Okay. Okay, here are some examples of the manufacturing overhead, like depreciation of manufacturing equipment. That is kind of manufacturing overhead. So, Gado, do you know depreciation? Do you know, everything, the machine and the factory, the building are the assets of the company, right? But the value of the machine or the building are decreasing year by year. So you have to recognize the cost to the decreasing in value of the asset.
And right there.
Where?
Why?
Why? Because,
Yes.
how do I say that? It's because you have to recognize all the costs to the products. For operating the company, see the building is serving the company, right? The building will get older and older. So, and then after 20 or 30 years, the building cannot be used. But you have to recognize the decreasing in value over the term over these 20 years. Yes, so there is a term used for,
New technologies.
yeah, especially technology. Yeah. So you have to recognize the useful year of your assets, and you divide all the value of that assets within that useful life. So each asset has their own useful life. So that is called depreciation. Okay. So depreciation of manufacturing equipment or machine, that is a part of the manufacturing overhead. And then utility costs, like we said, electricity and water. And then property taxes. Yeah, you have to pay tax for the property. And then insurance. Yeah, that's the most common manufacturing overhead. And you have to remember, only those indirect costs associated with operating the factory are included in manufacturing overhead. Okay, so for office building, that is not included in overhead, in manufacturing overhead. Okay, so remember the keyword manufacturing. That should be manufacturing related to be included in manufacturing overhead. Okay, another terms, prime cost and conversion cost. These are the another two terms. Prime cost including direct material and direct labor, because they are the prime cost of the product or the service. And direct labor and manufacturing overheads are called conversion costs because they help to convert the cost into product. So if I ask you what is prime cost, you will tell me a direct material or a direct labor. So direct labor are both prime cost and conversion cost. Okay. Yeah. And here comes non-manufacturing costs. So we are talking manufacturing costs. They include direct labor, direct material, and manufacturing overhead. But we do have some non-manufacturing costs. And they are selling costs and administrative costs. So selling costs will be your sales. You pay the sales salaries. So the salaries are selling costs. And they are the costs necessary to secure the order and deliver the product. And please remember, selling costs can be either direct or indirect cost. Okay? To see whether it's easily to be traced to the product or to the service. And administrative costs, all executive, organizational, and clerical costs, like accountants and top managers. Okay, so administrative costs can be either direct or indirect costs. Okay. So for companies, we have manufacturing cost. If that is a manufacturing company, we have manufacturing costs. We have non-manufacturing costs. And manufacturing costs include what? Direct?
Materials, labor, and MOH.
Yes, MOH. And how about non-manufacturing costs?
Selling cost and
Yes, good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, next. Okay, then product cost and period cost. Okay, so we talk about direct material, the labor, manufacturing overhead, we talk about selling costs, administrative costs. Can you classify them into either product cost or period cost? It's easily good. Or X the machine. Product cost, yeah, product itself, your jewelry. What? So what are product costs?
The cost of going to manufacturing.
So the direct labor, direct material, manufacturing overhead, yeah? Yes. But period cost. So what is period cost?
So cost refers to manufacturing cost.
You can think about that then. Yes,
Sounds right.
yeah, very similar. Yeah.
But not non-manufacturing cost.
Period cost.
But what period?
For me, I think it like this way. For the salary, for the manager's salary, monthly salary, right? So it's for period. Yeah, not for product itself. Even the commission, you pay for the sales commission based on their performance is on for the previous year. So that is the period cost. Okay. So product cost includes all the costs that are involved in acquiring or making a product. So for manufacturing company, the costs associated with making that product are product costs. So that's for your stones. See, got for your stones. You buy that from a source, a very ethical, and you have to pay for the shipment. So that is included in your product. So that is the product cost. Because it is required to acquire the product. Okay, and product cost attached to a unit of product as it is purchased or manufactured, and they stay attached to each unit of product as long as the unit remains in inventory awaiting sale. So that cost is included in the inventory. And then manufacturing product cost, like its raw materials, work in process, and finished goods. So there are three forms of the inventory.
So manufacturing costs that are inside the product cost.
Yes, you can say that, yeah. And the manufacturing cost includes raw material, work in process, and finished goods. It's good. And can you tell the difference between work in process and finished goods? I think so. And yeah, anything not finished is included in work in process. Anything finished in finished goods. Okay, and raw material. Okay, yeah.